I just discovered a golf club company based right here in Illinois called Sub 70. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I just picked up this golf club, not a set of golf clubs, just this golf club, because the company really intrigued me. And I actually was looking at some of the clubs they make, and this one spoke to me. It was really, really beautiful, so I thought I would check it out. Now, there are some reasons that I didn't pick up a full set. One, despite the fact that this is a direct-to-consumer company and it's based here in Illinois and the prices are very affordable for what looks like a really good set of golf clubs, I also wasn't planning on playing with them. I wasn't going to spend $200 or $300 on a set of clubs that I probably wasn't going to play with. And the reason that I wouldn't play with these has nothing to do with the quality of club. It's really the fact that this is a forged muscle back iron, and I need the most forgiveness a club will offer, and that really means that I go to cavity back game improvement irons, so I want as much help from my golf clubs as possible. Now, if you are a good golfer, maybe a scratch golfer, maybe someone who really shapes their shots, a forged iron like this that is not cavity back is probably something that you're going to want. This company is called Sub 70. I actually really like their logo. It's like a bar with the 70 below it, kind of Sub 70, 70 like a denominator there. So it's kind of a cool looking logo. And I thought that I would just try out this club because it might be indicative of the rest of the clubs. Now, the reason I picked this particular one up, they do sell a few different lines of golf clubs, was because this one was just maybe the best looking club I've ever seen. And it's not because it's really ornate or anything like that. It's just got a very almost sci-fi, technical, industrial, mechanical look in something that usually has a little bit more shape to it. It's rounded, it's a little more organic. You can see it's kind of like almost this flat blade, and then the muscle back piece here is just this kind of tiered, stair-stepped metal block. You know, again, I think all this is forged and then it's milled out. It has a little bit of design, kind of like machining design in it, but you can see here, there's really three levels, this lower, middle, and upper level. It's got this nice squared off straight edge here. The blade here is straight, and there are some ridges that go down the middle of this kind of flat portion here, and you can actually feel the edge where they meet this kind of clean edge. And then you have a little bit of extra material right here in the toe, which is cool. You have a pretty long hosel, the ferrule is right there, that all looks pretty standard. And then on the front, again, this probably looks very standard. It's got just a beautiful finish, and I love the fact that a lot of this looks kind of like a bead blasted or sand blasted look, and then it's got more of this polish. It's got a little bit of a jewel like look down there. Steel shaft. It also has a Golf Pride grip on here. This one is pretty standard. Like I said, I was able to just buy this one club, and I thought I would check it out, and it's a 7-iron, so it should be kind of a relatively easy club to hit. Now, I will tell you a couple things about this. That one, there is quite a bit of weight on this head, and I think it's because of all that metal down there. It also has a pretty big blade, so it's not overly intimidating even for someone like me who would not hit blades generally. It looks big enough that I think I would be able to make contact with it. And again, when you're standing over it, the other nice thing about it is the top line right here is very thin. I know a lot of people like that. They like the look of kind of a very thin face. Again, to me, that probably doesn't matter. In fact, one of the things I've been thinking about trying are like those hybrid irons that almost look like kind of half iron, half wood type of things, which will have a big back. You know, sometimes that actually helps me mentally because you kind of think all of that material is going to translate into momentum, so all you have to do is swing it and it will carry the ball out there. So for me, I don't actually think that that's necessarily an advantage. It's not necessarily a disadvantage, but some people like that really thin edge on the top. Now, the thing is, we'll have to go out there and see if you can actually hit a ball with it. Alright, so I took this Sub 70 club out to the range and hit a bunch of balls with it, and I will give you my final thoughts here. First of all, I actually hit it better than I thought. It is basically a blade, and you can see here that I was a little intimidated by it because how thin that sole is, and I've always heard you have to hit blades perfectly to enjoy them and to do well with them, and I would say that that's generally pretty correct. Now, I will say, one of the things that I noticed when I was swinging it is it seemed very heavy, and so I put it on my swing weight scale, and this came in at a D5. Now, my scale isn't necessarily the most accurate, but compared to my clubs, it is noticeably heavier. Now, that is actually kind of an advantage when I was swinging it because there's so much weight out there. I just felt like I had to have kind of a nice, easy swing, good tempo with it. It kind of forced me into doing that, and I hit some pretty decent shots with it. I would say that when I hit off center with this, I was kind of doing some pretty dramatic hooks and slices with it as well, or leaving them really short. That was kind of the other thing that I noticed was kind of the tendency there. But when you do hit it right in the center, square, good speed, it does fly pretty far. I would say that when you hit it off center, you can really kind of feel it. Now, it's a steel shaft and a pretty thin Golf Pride grip on here, so it kind of stings you in the hands a little bit when you don't quite get the sweet spot. Unlike my Cobra irons, which I hit right after that, and they were much more forgiving. They feel quite a bit softer. You don't get the ding when you hit with those clubs. You kind of get the thud. And so off-center hits are much more comfortable in the hands than these. Now, the one thing I will say about this is that they are beautiful. They actually kind of look like the PXG clubs a little bit. It might almost be nice if they had adjustable weights in the back there, like those little Allen screws that you can take out and kind of move the weight around a little bit. But it's such a nice looking club. It kind of makes me tempted to get some of those clubs that look like they're forged irons, but they're hollow inside and then they're foam filled to kind of give you a cavity back like forgiveness, but kind of this blade like look, because they really are nice. The other thing I will say is that it's kind of nice that there is a company right here in the Chicago area, or about an hour outside of Chicago, that makes clubs. It's pretty cool, and that they make their own, and that they offer them to consumers at a pretty nice price. So like I said, I only picked up this because there's no way I'd be switching to blade irons, but a set of these will only set you back like $400 or something like that. So a really nice premium set of clubs that look great, feel great, are generally going to be much more than that. They are basically kind of like a premium club at a entry-level club price. So that's pretty exciting too. Hey, if you want to pick up the sub 70 clubs, I will put links to them in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.